man. Kelo Kaddafi here on Malarkey with Markie, man. Nice to meet you. How you doing today, man?
Doing great, bro.
Man, always good to see you. Always good to have a positive voice on here. Give yourself a shout out, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat.
Okay. Shit. First and foremost, Google is the best way to find me on any platform that you regularly use. So you can Google Kelo Kaddafi, Kelo, two D's, one I on Kaddafi, Kaddafi, and I'm on all your platforms. You know what I'm saying? I got hella music out there, and that's how you find me.
What's going on? That's what I like to hear, man. Remember my man said, Google him. You heard what he said.
Yes,
Google that name, man. First question I got to ask you. How long you been doing music, bro?
I started recording at 14, and so that's when I actually started putting stuff out there. Not necessarily like online, but we'd make little CDs and stuff and give them to the homies and stuff like that. But about 14 is when I started recording. I started writing this stuff at 13. So,
how would you say the game has changed since you was doing all that stuff at 14? What different type of plug-ins, and I be hearing all this stuff now. How is the game different from when you was doing all that stuff at 14 to how you doing it now?
Man, it's almost completely different. Biggest thing is the media now, we talking about MySpace days versus like Twitters and IGs and stuff now. The media changed everything, which is a good thing though at the same time because it puts you out there more.
Definitely go from a MySpace 8 to an Instagram Live or a Facebook Live feed, and you instantly like that,
Harder grind
yes.
back then. So
most definitely a harder grind back then.
You gotta appreciate the media, man.
So with that being said, who is your inspiration to actually start rapping? Like what rap artist made you like, man, I'm really digging this flow?
Alright, so I'm gonna plug in like a little funny story, and I think about it from time to time. I remember back when I lived on Jefferson at the time. I remember it vividly. I lived on Jefferson, and I was in Mama's car, and I was in the passenger seat. She was in the driver's seat, and my birthday was coming up. And I don't know what it was, but I was just drawn to this man for some reason. Mace. I just loved the way he flowed. I just loved his demeanor and just what he was doing. He was like a perfect fit for the squad and stuff that they had. So, I don't rap nothing like that now, but back then that was one person. And I was a youngster, I was super young. But that was one person I always remember I liked a lot, as far as like being attracted to fame and being attracted to someone stylistically and how they did their thing.
Yeah, because Mace had flow, and then on top of the flow, he had swagger before it was swagger. He had his own style, and everything you heard him say in the rap song, he would portray it in all his rap videos or whenever you see him.
Oh, yeah.
And even if in 2019 now, if you go back and listen to some of these Mace songs, Mace juking.
Yeah, still relevant.
Yeah, super hot. That's crazy because you don't hear a lot of Mace, and then especially to put it in the perspective you put it in. Now you can figure out why.
Yeah.
Who else was it? You said you had somebody else at 13?
So that was when I was a little younger. Around the time where I started wanting to write my own lyrics. I was living in a home, a foster home, and my oldest brother was actually in there with me. And so he had all these records and stuff, and we would always play these CDs on this little boom box that we had got for Christmas. And artists like Do or Die, Eminem, you'll play a lot of Genuine, which I've incorporated a lot of singing and things in my records now.
Genuine cold, man.
Definitely.
Cold.
Definitely one of the coldest.
He don't get enough credit.
No doubt. But it was a whole plethora of artists, and what I would do is I would write. We would listen to them and rap with them, and write their lyrics, their own lyrics, not ours, and we'd write them. And I became cold with hearing everything they were saying. And one day, and so I wrote it, and after I said it, I looked up at him, and he had the biggest smile on his face, and he was so proud of me when I looked at him, and I never forget it. And that motivated me to keep writing some more. And so since then I have not stopped writing. Not saying that's the only reason I still make music or compose, But I would never forget how dope that made him feel, how it made me feel seeing his reaction on
That's a super huge inspiration to have,
yeah.
especially off something. How 7 sentences could change the trajectory of your life, like 7 sentences to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like really the way to look at it. You know what I mean? Like,
I definitely like that.
And you got the will and the footwork to keep going, to drive, to never stop. Just like what he say, he was at work, but I wrote this 7, and then when he got off work, it was like it changed both lives. And that's the essence of hip hop, man. Yeah. Real great story, man. Yeah, thank man. You, real life with Kelo Kaddafi, man. You know what I'm saying? Always look him up. Y'all know what time it is.
Always roll with it.
So the next question I'm gonna have you. You say you just got off that. Is there any more family that inspired you to still keep kicking with your music? Like, you know, when you had your naysayers, like everybody got their downtrodders and they dirt kickers. Who else would you say, you know, put that inspire on you? Like, hey man, get on up, man. Keep doing it. I love you.
No doubt. One major key family member of mine is my cousin Dunk. You know, I've always been, just straight out the gate, I've always been a little bit more advanced with it. I don't know why, but I've been nice. You know, I've just been nice with it. And so he's way older than me, and he used to always take me around, have me rapping for people, put me in studios and stuff like that, and just kind of like, I don't know, I was just entertaining to him, you know. So my cousin Dunk's definitely one of them. The major one, though, would be my mom. My mom hasn't always been in my life, but she has always supported me rapping. It doesn't matter if I'm, you know, living with her, or if I was living with my own, or doing my own thing, or if I came around once a month, that, you know, during that period of time, she always supported us. Like, anytime I lived with her, you know, growing up, and, you know, trying to get my own thing going, anytime I lived with her, I could always play my music loud, I could always write my music, I could always do my thing. She never complained about it. And, you know, that's just one tie that just always, like, kept me going, and I always wanted to make her proud and happy as well, you know.
Yeah, man, a mother's passion, it never leaves. You know, nobody has the same story, but I have recollection with, I got 2 moms, you know what I mean? This is my stepmoms, and I got my real mom in California. Everything had always been peachy and creamy, but one thing that's always stayed consistent is passion and love. Yeah. She always gonna have passion and love for the things I do, just like vice versa. We might not agree, we might not be under the same household. She might not know I like what I like on my food plate, but she know what I like as far as passion and love, and that's all that really matters when it comes to that. That's
keeps you going.
Real positive, man. Real good to stick on that, man, because a lot of people, they don't try to make positives off negatives. Yeah, and I'm big on that too. With that, you know, you big on it. What could you say another negative that was out there that you flipped that and turned that into a positive call for yourself?
It's probably many. Honestly, my life period, and just the upbringing. You know, I could sit here all day and be like, hey, I grew up on the south side, I ain't have nothing, you know, I'm hood, I'm this, I make trap music. But honestly, I took life and I played the game with it that it is meant to be played. Are you going to always be that? Is what you've always been what you're going to always be? And the biggest hump probably to come over is deciding what I'm going to do with that. So yeah, I came from, you know, nothing, no lights, and, you know, food, and 2 other brothers and a sister. We just out here, you know, no parents. We out here months, just like where my mama at? I ain't never met my dad, you know. And it's just like, what am I gonna do with that? And I feel like I took that coming down during trying to come by 1,000. I think that's the biggest one.
Yeah, it's always pressure squatting back up. It's easy dropping that weight down. You got to squat that weight back up. You know, make sure your toes is down. Thighs might shake a little bit. Get on up through there. Good to keep looking over that horizon, looking up that ceiling, man, because that's super positive. And you say you had a daughter. You say she's about 10. Try to put that puzzle to the piece. This is gonna be the prelude for having your child. So how was it? Like, we're a family. You say you start putting, we in this room. Put your first pen and pad at 13. So we can call that 8th grade year. 8th grade year, I want to say, sound like everybody was rocking on the table talking about clips. That's what I want to say. Everybody was through the grind. So, you know, and so with that derived from, how did that go from, you know, lunch table or not lunch table, excuse me. How did that go from writing 7 sentences to then evolving to lunch table to you out here with your peers like, oh man, this is really what I do. Even at that age when peer pressure and I say adolescent negativity gets in the way of youths performing or doing the things that are natural or that they could be good or great at, especially in your case.
Right. So, with the little background that I had already laid out about, you know, being in these different situations in life as far as turmoil, you know, I've been to different homes and stuff like that. That stuff right there kind of really made me shut down. You know what I mean? As far as like overall, like caring and trying to really like fit in. So that put me in a situation where I didn't care what people thought. And from when I did write those 7 sentences, I wanted to go ahead and carry on with that. And I just kept doing that no matter what a peer thought about what I was doing or anything like that.
Can't be a shy rapper, it ain't gonna work.
Not at all.
Ain't gonna work.
So I carried on in school, and honestly, with the people that was around me as far as the classmates and stuff, they wasn't on that, and I was really one of the first ones to do that with the generation in the class that I was in as far as school. So a lot of people gravitated to that, and that was entertainment. We in the entertainment business. And like I said, I've been nice with this for since damn near since I started. And, you know, it wasn't nothing but love from that. And, you know, I got a bunch of people going with this. And so, yeah, I definitely
So what's the big move now getting into 2019 with, I wouldn't say just 2019, I would say going up from 2012 to 2019, where it's more specifically gotten to the, man, the beat was hard. I really don't know what Buddy said, but the beat was hard.
Right.
Or now you're getting back into a more lyrical base of hip-hop. I spoke on last time, and in our future endeavors, especially when it comes to hip-hop, the renaissance of rap. Everything goes back around, it comes back around. So I think the lyricalism of rap, of true tradition of hip-hop, gotta have bars. I mean, I'm West Coast big, and West Coast is phenomenally known for gangster rap. But when we have people out there like Kendrick Lamar, Schoolboy Q, just to name a few that are lyrically like, oh my wow. And then, you know, rest in peace Nip. Like, these is folks that, and I bought every Game album that's dropped. So these is lyrical people that, you know, like, but even from the West Coast to the East Coast to down south and everywhere, I just think the lyrical is coming back to rap. How do you feel about that? Lyricalism coming back to rap, especially since, you know, that's your keen field.
It really is.
You know, it should be, everybody got their own view, but your keen field. How you feel about
the lyricism coming back around? It's definitely coming back around, and a lot of times, even in just like some of the trap music and some of the party music, it's there too. You know, it's just a different feel because it's partying and it's just this and this and this. Like, there's a lot of artists that are lyrical, and until you like really buckle down and listen to it, you wouldn't know. You know, as far as lyricism with me, I stick to the roots of that, and I mean, that's a part of my style. You know, just a lyrical artist. If somebody says, oh, I don't want no lyrical artist, then you don't want to listen to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm definitely gonna come with it, and it just means a lot to me. You know.
But in that fashion, it's almost like a contradiction in itself. Who wants to listen to rap and not listen to a lyrical artist when the only reason you know the rap song is because the lyrics he said in the song?
People who fail to realize the beginning of this. How it started.
A true dynamic.
The real meanings behind things.
Yeah, and
just the sounds that sound good to your ears, though. You gotta listen to them. You gotta vibe with them. You don't necessarily gotta be lyrical, you know. I listen to all type of music and not even just different type of rap.
Man, classic hip hop, classic rock and roll. My cousin, that's who I can really blame for my hip hop or my taste in music. This dude was that dude that get off of work on Friday and go to the music store and spend half his check on, you know, XXL, Source magazines, all hip hop. Then on top of that, he's walking out of there with 10 CDs. And he's going to listen to them and not like, oh, that was dope. Like, nah, he's a clown. I don't know what he said. Like, you know.
Definitely.
So, that's my thing. And he got everything. Metallica. I mean, it's nothing that this dude don't know when it comes to music. And I sit there and I'm baffled sometimes by it. Because how could one person have so much vast knowledge of music?
Right, and it's the they could deliver the same message as we.
So with the compound poetry of hip hop, like I said, it's just compound because when you put the two verses in, you put two compounded poetries in the same verse. You know, it's like the first half of the verse is saying something in the second half verse, like ooh, ooh, he didn't have to do me like that. So
makes it all cohesive, makes
it
all go together.
Especially with your bars, ridiculous.
Right.
Longevity.
Definitely.
I mean, let's get on that.
I look to make classics.
Yeah.
I don't look to make something that's gonna be hot this summer. I look to make something that you're gonna look up every summer. You know, I want to make. The difference is, I want to make classics.
So with making classics, how is it making classics and balancing your work life? You know what I'm saying? Because life's a classic in itself. So when you making the rap game, how is that balancing everything?
So you know, I'm a man first. You know what I'm saying? And my music is very, very important to me. But I can't record with no power. You know, so I make sure I handle my business as best as I can. And of course, I've got to help. You know, I have actually not always done things that way. And so I've fallen behind before as far as making sure that life is done with real music. But now I make sure that my life is cohesive before I try to do too much with the music because it makes it smoother. And it is a struggle. You know, some people make it seem like, oh, I'm just a big rapper and I'm doing all this and this and this and this and this. And it's like, yeah, that's not really how it is. And when you get caught into the side, you try to follow those footsteps and you'll find out you run into a brick wall.
So, if I can ask, what was that turning point? Did you ever hit a facade or run into a facade? You like, bro, this ain't me. This ain't how I do things. This is not what I'm into.
Turning point. One thing that's always in my mind, you know, with my daughter, I really care to make her life better than mine was, you know. And a lot of times when I've gotten caught up into like, you know, whatever it was, just trying to be in the street or doing music or trying to go off and do some shows and stuff like that, whatever the reason may be, I always refer to the back of my mind, you know, it's my daughter, I gotta see my daughter, I gotta get some stuff with my daughter. And those things, you need money for those things, you get time for those things. So that stuff over time made me straighten up.
Right, Toys R Us going out of business still ain't helped me.
Right.
Still ain't helped me. I didn't see no change in my payroll.
No, she still got a Christmas list every year.
Man, birthday's getting more ridiculous. I got a 9-year-old, and we already to the point where we don't even want birthday gifts. She just want to go out to eat and collect the cash.
And one thing though, that you said that birthday will actually be another turning point because since she was 1 year old, I was throwing a birthday party. Sometimes it's like small, sometimes it's like a little bigger, like kids and stuff. But it was 1 year, I remember I could not grind up nothing to get her, or I couldn't do nothing special for her. We just like chilled in the room and played with her toys and stuff like that, but I didn't necessarily get her nothing new. And that right there, that really is a shot to the heart, to the vibe and everything. And so things like that make me pick up and really have to get out there on my run.
Right, it created a long-lasting memory as a father.
Right.
Most time when you speak to your children, they might remember stuff from, 1 or 2, and you be like, how do you remember that? I barely remember it. But then, it's some things that you always remember. You'll have that small memory, and they'll never know nothing about it, but that'll be the reason why you, okay, Doug, I'm going to get back to work.
Right, man, purely.
Because it happens out there a lot. Yeah. So that's crazy that, the things you have to do to create classics while also mixing that work and life culture.
Oh, yeah.
Super crazy.
We actually had physical copies of that. So
Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah,
from the basement up.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was dope. I never forget it. And then I put out little projects growing up since then.
Humble beginnings, humble upbringings, man. That's really what we like to hear. What could you say was one of the most, not controversial albums in itself, more controversial albums in the lyrics you was putting out there, because more like I was going through this and this what was coming off me, like, you know what I mean? What would you say was more your what's your most controversial album that you've dropped, just in your sense?
It would be my last album that I dropped, and it's called Colonel Robert Evans, and Colonel Robert Evans is who Evansville is named after. We're named after him, and so that kind of made me name the album that, because I was making the album about me coming up in Evansville and just us as a people, you know, because we're different and we're strong and we've been through it. And so I named the album Colonel Robert Evans, based on who Evansville was named after. But that album right there is probably the most controversial, I would say, because I finally got the niche. I finally got out there saying the best way I wanted to say what I'm trying to do, you know. And there's hella messages in there, and it's diverse at the same time it's cohesive, and it was just a wonderful project. A lot of people talked to me about how they loved it. People every day, you know, I finally listened to the whole album and stuff like that. So that's worth giving a listen to.
How was that, getting feedback off your controversial album like that? You know what I mean? And then especially the name. That's not a name you hear like, what?
Yeah.
So with the name having background to it and still reluctant into the everyday life, that tell everybody that you're thinking at another level when it comes to your art and your music in whole. Right. And that's always good to see, because every artist is their own individual person, and that's what we want to see when we actually listen to the music, when we see them in person, when we see them on TV, we go out to a concert, you know what I mean? No matter where it may be at, you could be at the park giving an open mic, you could be at the lounge giving an open mic, you could be out here blowing up a festival with Tech N9ne or somebody like that, you know what I mean?
They want it to be all cohesive,
yeah, you know what I mean? And then you need everything to be cohesive, especially doing things the way you do.
No doubt.
I don't see how not. And you say you found your niche. How was it finding your niche and just staying on that path?
Well, one of the things that's crazy that I feel like improved my overall sound and music is kind of like singing a little bit and putting melodies and things. Singing is in my family's background, but I was never the guy to sing, though. That was the brothers and the sisters and the mamas and aunties. And, you know, I found a little lane with that and incorporated it into the songs I was already making. And, you know, singing is different. It lets you express differently. And I like to enrapture the audience. And so I taught a lot of that into it. I taught a lot of content in there that needed to be said that a lot of people don't touch, you know what I mean? And so that's probably why it was more impactful.
A lot of sticky situation content, because it's 2019. Politically correct is correct.
Right.
If you're not politically correct, I mean, I hope you got a stronger shell. I hope you got a strong shell.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? Because if not, it's gonna trample over you and keep moving.
Eat you up.
But you know, keep it on a positive note.
Definitely eat you up, I swear.
So that was your last album?
Yeah, Colonel Robert Evans.
Colonel Robert Evans.
Right.
So what inspired it?
The album?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to make an album that expressed my coming up. I've been meaning to make an album that expressed me at the same time. And, this is a product of this environment. And so that's what inspired that.
Yeah, and I always think environment has always played a strong thing on anybody's life, especially a single person in life. You know, it's the environment you was raised in, but more or less the environment you adapted to or grew up, because that's the first thing we learn about education. It's all about adaptation and evolution.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the same concept in life. You have to adapt to your surroundings, not somebody else's.
Right. I owed the city that album.
Right. Wow.
I owed them that.
Wow.
So that has to be done.
That's huge. Yeah, to not only feel that strongly about the city, as you should, but to feel that strong to put your album in the city in the same content and give it the name, like I said, man, it's compound poetry, man. Yeah. It's compound poetry. It's something you gotta get jazzy to, man. So with that being said, let's get into your clothing line, man. Heard you got a clothing line out there. I've seen a few shirts, you know what I'm saying? Looking nice. Price is excellent. And on top of the price being excellent, it feels great on the skin. Yes, so, you know, what could you say about being a young entrepreneur, and how is that also went with your rap career?
No doubt. So if you're going to do it, do it. You know what I mean? And we want to do the music lane, and we also want to take our place in the fashion. And the clothing line is called VIANVII, and the niche with it is the feel and the simplicity of it, and to tie it with the lifestyle. So the clothing line is called VIANVII. I don't have a ongoing line of it. It's a line that I put in and out. So it creates a buzz with it, commodity, and makes people want it, and which has been working so far. We've only sold probably like 3 orders so far. We've only put it out a few times, and that's the direction we're going with it. And it's kind of the same formula that we're using with the albums. I'm not always here for you to be able to get me. So when I am here, you take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. And when I'm going to push out to you is quality. I'm going to do it like nobody else is going to do it, and it's going to be memorable.
That's even a stronger. That's like who can control their own supply and demand. So all y'all listen to this Kelo Kaddafi interview, this dude is controlling his own supply and demand. You know what I mean? He wants to put his demand in, and he wants to control the supply you get. Right. And it's coming full steam. And that's what we always like to hear, folks pushing their own brand, doing the clothing line, and then so when did you start it?
So the name VIANVII came to me, and it's not a real word, I made it up. And it just means, life. And however you choose to live it. And I made that word up in just a verse I was writing on a song like 4 or 5 years ago. And I didn't transfer that into clothing until probably about a year ago. Maybe a whole year ago. But so that's how long we've even been dealing with as far as clothes.
So speaking on that, what type of clothes do you like yourself before you had the VIANVII? What clothes? What type of fashion you like yourself? What are you threading in?
Oh man, everything.
See, you got the nice suede boys on.
Right, no doubt. So with me, it's entertainment. I took that to the fullest as far as outfits and just clothing changes and one show and all kind of stuff and sporadic things and eye-catching appeal. So I wear anything from high fashion to just simple, solid color stuff. I'm really everywhere with the fashion. You never know what you'll catch me at. And I definitely deal with my own line. I wear that. I actually wear that every day to work. And the main thing.
It feels good having your own brand on your body compared to the next thing, because like I always tell people, I have different opinions with people, opposed to Nike, whomever it may be. It could be Walmart, whomever.
Right, whatever.
It could, it's still a brand. And why couldn't you create your own brand to wear on your body rather than go give somebody else whatever it was for that hoodie? Yeah. When I got the same everything he got. So
you don't know it until you try it either.
Yeah.
You don't know. Who knew I was gonna sell out at the party? We threw a party. We had a whole order in there. The whole order was gone. Who knew though?
Controlling supply and demand, people. Controlling supply and demand. If you throw a party, it's a good job on hand to have your merch on hand.
Oh yeah, always.
Have your merch on it. It's your party. The people came because
with it, honestly.
Okay. So next thing on that, you be on the news all the time, man. You be on the news all the time, man.
Yeah.
I mean, once, twice, thrice. You know what I'm saying? We done did that times too. We've been on the news 6. Finna be your 7th time. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Finna have an upcoming, interview on the news.
Yeah. So there was a present I got for my birthday, and it's my dude Lope, Cody Thurman. He goes by Lope Originals, and that's actually his handle.
Shout out with the shoes, man.
Yep, Lope Originals. And he tricked out this pair of Air Force Ones. It was all white. He stripped them down, painted them up, and he made this beautiful shoe for my birthday. And it's so dope. And there was actually a photographer for Shoe Carnival that wanted to take pictures of it. So they took pictures of it, and then the pictures got out there, and then the news channel picked them up, and so they want us to come up there and do an interview, and that's actually tomorrow. So
Super dope, man.
Yes, sir.
Always moving. Then on top of that, you're not only moving by yourself, you're moving with more people with you. Brothers, you know, you and Cody go way back, so it's always good to have, you know, somebody that's been on the same train tracks you've been on, because they might not be able to keep speed when they get a little rusty, you know.
Right, vice versa.
And that's always good. And then just to be networking, man, just, you know, how is that working with the news people, man? You know what I'm saying? Yo, 7th time, you a vet now. You a vet now.
Right.
You got your own room in there yet?
Nah, definitely.
They know you like
some good people. They come out to shows, and I actually had this lady host some of the shows. Her name's Gretchen Irons. She's a real big fan of the music, and you know, we help each other. We scratch each other's back that way. We were linked by my dude Ryan Taylor. He goes by Ryan Taylor, and Charm Like Mantra. And so all these things over time have just grew a stronger and stronger bond. And so whenever something happens like that, I'm able to use that outlet and put it out there even more. So,
yeah, that's always good, man. Always good to have, you know, like we was talking about earlier, man. Social media, bruh. We went from MySpace to live updates, and the more times you can get it on social networking, social media, hey, man, it's free advertising.
Free.
You own it half the day anyway. The least you could do is try to make yourself some money off of it and get heard. You know what I mean? Get heard, let people hear your music. Then on top of hearing music, man, so Tech N9ne came to town, correct?
Yes.
Also heard you opened up for him. Is that also correct?
Well, no, I did not get to open for him.
Okay.
What had happened was he was in town to do a concert, and previous to the concert, he was in town to do an interview, and so I pop up at the interview, and that's with those ties that I had with Ryan and Gretchen, so they kind of like gave me the little, you dig, to go in there. And so I was in there, I watched the whole interview with him and Chris Calico. It was amazing. Really got to get in touch with those guys and get to know them a little more. And when it was over, and you know, they was packing up to leave, I was like nervous as heck. I was just like, I said, can I rap for you? And he kind of looked annoyed at first, and he just looked at me, and he's like, yeah, man, you can come outside while we waiting for this Uber. And I'm like, all right. So he goes out there, and I'm just like stuck. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, okay, wait, what am I gonna do?
I think he was gonna say yeah.
Right. So he go outside, and I finally like, go ahead, go. So I go out there, and I'm like, man, you know, I don't know if y'all know who Tech N9ne is, but this is a cultivating artist.
Tech N9ne, cultivating Kansas City rapper. He just ain't a Kansas City rapper. Like,
no.
I'm telling you, like, he's something different.
Yeah.
He's something different. He's his own mogul, man. Like, folks talk about, you know, Warner Brothers. He got a compound that you can compare to Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
He don't leave his compound to do everything. Y'all heard of Tech N9ne. It's Tech N9ne, man.
And he get into him.
And he got bars. So that's how I know you heard of him. He got bars. bars. And I ain't talking regular bars. It's easy to talk, shoot up the whole club bars.
Yeah.
I'm talking about bars, y'all. Get into. They don't pay him because he's not good. They pay him because he's great.
Yeah.
Think about this, y'all. Come on now, man. Plus, he do everything in-house. And you know what that means? You can look at everything. You have final say. And when you have final say, just like this man Kelo Kaddafi, you can control your own supply and demand.
Definitely.
Come on now. I already said, we giving out game.
And he just looked at me like super surprised, man. He took my contact information and stuff down. And later on, we went to the concert. And, you know, it was like a little bit after the concert was over. He had followed me on IG after the concert. So it was just, you know, it was just crazy. But he showed a lot of love, and so shout out to him for that. And it was just a dope experience.
Man, that's always good to get, you know, not unexpected experience, but you know, you came at him not as a fan, but you came at him like, I like your music, and I'm a fan, but I'm also want you to acknowledge my artistry, unless you hear me for what I am. And for a dude to do that, it just tells you how networking goes. Small plugs, you know what I'm saying? Small plugs can electrocute a whole building. Y'all gotta think about this, y'all. We giving jewels. This man Kelo here got game for days, man. Listen up. So with that being said, your parties, man, What's going on with the parties, man? When can we get the next showcase, you know?
So
Or what do you got next upcoming as far as showcases?
we're actually putting a party together right now as far as the ideas and who we're going to throw them with. We don't have a specific date for it, or I don't want to leak out the venue options, but we are about to throw another Kelo Kaddafi Presents party. If you've been to one of them, you already know how it is. We talking about we on the ceiling, we on the pool tables, we talking about dancers, we talking about sparkling bottles, we talking about VIP section, we talking about red carpet, we talking about contests, we talking about prizes, we talking about hottest artists in the city all on one stage in one building. You already know what it is, and it will be coming to you soon.
Super showcase. You hear what he said? Super showcase, man. You know what I'm saying?
Like
letting out the whole city talent and then letting everybody do their thing. You know what I mean? Nobody brings it like Kelo, man. Get on with that VIANVII, man. I know what time it is. Then on top of that, man, this is, I don't want to go crazy, but also heard this. It was some, not heat or friction, but some, you know, some scuttle words between one of the local owners of a bar here. You know, how was that? If you want to diverge on any of that.
So actually, that's crazy because that sticks with the parties that we did throw. And I really don't know like what happened with it, but there was a venue that we threw some parties at, and out of nowhere the party, we could not do anything else in there, and it come to find out the owner of the venue had a conversation with one of the managers. The manager or the owner, somebody from there, put the conversation online, and he's talking about no more Kelo parties because it's getting too dark in there.
He ain't talking about outside. No. He's not talking about outside. This is taking place in the Kelo Kaddafi production. You know, get in tune. Y'all just heard what the man said. What it's like.
Right, which is it's upsetting because our crowd is really diverse. I mean, we talking about hood. We got freaking gothic people in there. We got alternative. We got rock. We got bands playing. You know, all kind of folks in there. And I don't know why you felt like that, but it's just a touchy situation, and it's as real as it can get whenever you're dealing with it.
Now, you seem methodical in your approach into everything you do, you know what I'm saying? From the 7 sentences to life you living now, you know what I mean? Okay, everything doesn't happen the way it's supposed to happen, or that comes with anything in life, but
yeah.
How is that?
Well, if something don't go right in the showcase, I'm going to get it for myself. So we're going to always keep the ball rolling. But like I said, we got a strong team with it. Can't do it alone.
You got a DJ? What DJ you rolling with out there?
Well, the main DJs that I use is Murphy's Horizon and DJ Dre. Corey, I forget what his handle is though.
The real CG.
The real CG. The real CG.
The real CG.
He's definitely the truth.
I'm with them boys. My dog is the turn up king. Not to get off Kelo, but the real CG is the real.
Definitely turn up king.
Man.
And DJ Dre Allen, he's definitely turn up king.
Man,
too.
his mixes is ridiculous. He'll take you back into something from the 70s and throw you back in this 2019.
Yeah.
And when it drop,
oh yeah.
Hey, bro, lace up your Jordans, have your pants up, because it's going to drop.
It's definitely going to do that. I say Murphy's Horizon because as far as me and my artistry, it's really, really fitting. And so I always definitely keep him on the team.
Yeah, always good, always good. Murphy's Horizon, man. Y'all look that up, you know what I mean? Because I'm sure he's out there doing big things as well, man. It's always good, man, to keep the positive vibe.
Yes, sir.
The last thing I want to really get into, or not the last thing, but man, so you got on these music platforms. How is it channeling all these music platforms and keeping it up to date and constantly, you know, staying on it from Apple Music to Google Play to Spotify to Amazon, YouTube to iHeartRadio and Pandora? Like, most folks might have a few venues, but you pretty much on every avenue.
Yeah. So I'll give you the recipe. Actually, is a distribution company called DistroKid. So I don't want to, hold anything back from letting the next man prevail. So I signed up for DistroKid, and we went through the agreement and the terms with them, and that's just an online browser, and you upload your music on there, and they will distributed for you.
So how is that working? Like, you know, because you always hear distribution deals or any type of distribution, because you know, God gave you 2 feet. That's your first forms of distribution.
Right.
But you can't go from Indiana to California on your feet in one day.
Right.
You know what I mean? It don't work like that.
No doubt. So the music is put out there through all those platforms. It's up to you to put those platforms out there for yourself. You gotta help yourself.
Right.
And so, man, we've reached Uganda already. You know, using distro. We've reached Germany. There's people, and I know this because they're buying stuff. And so it's out there. All you got to do is just stay consistent with it, and eventually it'll come together.
So maybe in the future, you know, not, you know, 2020, 2021 maybe, you got any tours coming up, tri-state tours, you know what I'm saying? Anything like that? Not with just in this general area, but, you know, whoever knows will come up. We know you got the showcase and stuff like that to be undisclosed, but...
Yeah, no doubt. What we want to do is definitely do that tri-state tour.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking that we want to do it with just me. You know?
I mean, definitely not.
Right. I don't want to be like, well, Kelo's on tour. Everybody come see Kelo. No, I want to do it with other people who have their stuff together.
Yeah.
And they're prepared to go on the tour as well.
Yeah.
So we group up, do that together. I don't care if you like me. Let's go get this money.
And I think, you know, even when you do tours like that, when you actually think about the essence of hip-hop and you think about the people who like, oh, man, he's hard. Just like when you actually see people in music videos, but you didn't know that was them.
Yeah.
Then you go back and watch the music video and be like, oh, that was them. That was 2 years ago. Like, they blew up. Like, okay. And the same essence of that, it's like when you do the showcase and things like that, somebody could easily blow up off that. But I think everybody should have a criteria to where, you know, you got all these platforms and you got your stuff, you know, you got your shoes laced right, brother. And that's always good to have. And on top of having your shoes laced right, I think everybody needs to be sitting there, have their shoes laced right. Because nobody wants to be Rugrat and Chucky running around with his shoes untied. It's like, come on, man. It wouldn't be hard to put together maybe a, you know, 16 people showcase for a tri-state tour, especially collectively if you get everybody from those tri-states, you know, and plus it hit the local artists that day too, you know, make it a full movement.
It's business.
Man. Yeah, man.
Whatever's best for the business.
Yeah, man. I love having you on here, Muhlarkey with Markie, man. This Kelo Kaddafi. Y'all log in, man. Everything's always good. Good to have you here, man. Good to have you, man. Thank you for coming, brother.
You already know.